Thank you, Chuck. Well, the city of Bloomington is one step closer to getting 58 townhouses after a new development gained approval from the Planning Commission tonight. Taylor Fleming joins us in the studio to share more details.
Lizzie, after an hour and 40 minutes of discussion, the Planning Commission held 2 votes on this issue. They unanimously agreed that the city annexing the property benefits the public, but they were divided 4-3 on whether zoning the area as residential benefits the public. 15 community members spoke in opposition to the new development at the meeting, many of whom live nearby the possible construction. They expressed concerns about increased traffic and keeping natural areas intact.
We have deer, we have raccoons, we have a lot of wildlife. Again, that property and that open space is really important to me personally for just protecting that and keeping that separation from any development.
City officials, developers, and the owners took this opportunity to address citizen concerns.
These trees may have to come out to improve the drainage. At the same time, my client is willing to go back in and plant some additional trees.
Developers also clarified this would not be low-income housing. Official approval for the annexation is far from complete. The issue is headed before the Zoning Board of Appeals next, and the City Council requires another public hearing when they consider the issue. Lizzie?